Hey everyone, it's Marco again. Excited to show you the best farming spot in World of Warcraft. Now, generally speaking, it's for non-mages. A mage is going to find better places to farm in a dungeon where they can reset over and over again. But if you're not a mage and you want the best place to farm, you're going to get yourself a Gnomish transporter so that you can go to Tanaris. You want to have some kind of slow fall on your character or the ability to avoid damage. So for example, on my paladin, I love engineering because I can basically prevent all the downsides of engineering through my bubble or blessing of freedom or whatnot. But in terms of the transporter, it will occasionally put you up in the air over there and you'll fall down, and unless you can bubble or slow fall or something, you're going to die. So your best bet is to get a parachute cloak if you're not a paladin, and wear the parachute cloak at the same time that you put on the Gadgetzan transporter. And then when you take it, if something bad happens to you and you're up in the air, you can just slow fall on your way down and not die. Okay, so that being said, there's one major factor in a gold farm that you have to have if you're going to be successful, and that is you have to have a way to make a lot of gold instantly. And the top two ways to make gold in the game instantly that are reasonable, that you can expect to happen at least once in a farming session, are getting arcane crystals, which are really falling out of favor and they're getting really inexpensive, probably because of bots again. We're in between ban waves, so that's probably why. And the other one is golden pearls. They both have an extreme amount of need by the player base, so low supply, high demand. It makes for some really easy money. Now, in this particular farm, we have the chance of getting the item that's more in demand right now, and it has a smaller quantity, which is the golden pearls. And I think that's because people get disenfranchised when they try to farm these things, and it's because they're so inconsistent. So you could spend 3 hours farming for this and never get it, but you could also spend 5 minutes farming and get it. So if you're doing something else, like, I don't know, fishing, like we're going to do today, or killing mobs to get the loot like we would in a Shara, which will be another video, you can do something else that gives you more consistent income, and then every once in a while have a nice big spike of income. So recently I bought my Nightfall. It cost me about 1,000 gold to make it. It's right there. And I made the money for that Nightfall, plus extra money because I made way more than I needed, in only 4 nights of farming. Approximately, I want to say about 10 hours of work for about, when all is said and done, I get all the money back, I'm probably going to have about 1,000 to 12, well, definitely 1,000 because that's how much it costs, but about 1,200 gold in the bank from my farming. And I would say every single time, every time the night ended and I go back to my bank alt, I'd have like another 150 gold in there and then another 150 gold on its way, with auctions selling over the course of the night. So you could make anywhere between like 100 and 200 gold per hour in this farming session. And so what I'm going to do now is just film myself performing the farming session, and I'm going to point out little tips and tricks to make this more profitable for yourself. So right off the bat, I got the most profitable thing that you can get, and the reason why you fish the fire fins, which most people ignore because fire fins aren't really worth that much money. I got a Rumsey Rum Black Label ×2. This item by itself is worth 2 gold, 20 silver. So in about 10 seconds, I made 4 gold and 40 silver because I got 2 of them in one cast. You also, even though it's fire fin, you can get mithril bound trunks. Now, mithril bound trunks can be worth anywhere between 2 silver, because there might be nothing in them, all the way up to several gold per. And one of the best things that you can get out of one of those trunks is a ring with nature resistance. If you get a ring with nature resistance, you instantly just made 15 to 30 gold. So that's probably the most money you can make from an item. You can also find other nature resist gear, but it doesn't sell as well because AQ's out right now. And potentially you can find Nax resistance items later on. But those are probably the best thing besides getting the clams from these guys and getting a golden pearl. Because a golden pearl, I don't know what that guy's doing there, is going to be worth anywhere from 50 to 70 gold depending on the day of the week, and the day of the week totally matters. You definitely want to pay attention to how the prices change throughout the week. But yeah, one of the first tips I'm going to give you is don't just vendor the greens, and fish the firefin snappers. It's really, really important that you fish the firefin snappers. Now, what does it take to actually do this farm? Well, you've got to have, I would suggest you get all the way to 300 fishing. If you're not at 300 fishing, when you get to about 240, you can put a plus 100, it's an engineering item, an aqua dynamic fish attractor, I think. It's plus 100 fishing on your fishing line. And it only lasts about 5 minutes, so you need a lot of them to do this farm. But it's totally worth it. The only problem is until you get to 300 fishing, it's difficult to stop fishing and kill the mobs because it takes away time off of the lure in between the pools. So you'll do a fishing pool, in about 2 minutes, and then you'll have 3 minutes left on your line, and you'll swim to the turtles, you'll kill them, you'll get onto the shore, and you have almost no time left on the fishing line, so you have to replace it like every pool. So I don't think that's worth it. I think you should just get to 300 fishing before you even attempt this spot. If you're Horde and you get the Angler's fishing rod, you can probably attempt it about 25 points lower than the Alliance can. You can probably do it at about 215. But I highly suggest you just get to 300, get to 275 if you're Horde, and then come out here. Because once you get to like 280-ish total fishing skill, you pretty much will never miss in the pools. You'll miss in the water outside, but you will not miss in the pools. So that's really good to just get to 300. Just don't worry about any misses then. You won't miss any gold. It's totally worth doing. If you need advice like on where to fish to make money in general besides this spot, as you're leveling it up, I mean, you can theoretically do it all in your city, but you won't make that much money. I would say as soon as you can fish right around Torn Mill, there's a river in Torn Mill that is just covered with sagefish pools, and if you can also cook it, just selling the sagefish isn't really worth it, but if you can cook it into MP5 food, that's totally worth doing. People will buy the cheaper version of the MP5 food just to save money. So at least you'll get some money out of fishing. I highly recommend that. Do that a bunch, even when you're way past being able to fish there, because you can make skill ups in fishing regardless of where you do it, which is why some people actually just stay in a city and do it the whole way there. There we go. We got some more money. Now you may be wondering, well, gosh, I'm getting so many items. Like, what items do I not care about? Like, what items am I vendoring? And this is the shocking thing about this farm. You theoretically could just vendor the grays. Now, I don't do that, so I'll give you more advice than just doing that. If you start getting into a pinch in terms of not knowing what you can get rid of, you are definitely going to want to get rid of the clam meat that you get from the clams that these guys drop. It stacks up to 10, but it's only worth 5 silver fully stacked. So it's the least valuable item that you can get. Even these grays, the scaly tails, are worth more stacked than the clam meat. And hopefully we can get some clams here so I can show you what I'm talking about. I do have a nice little rally of the Dragon Slayer right now, so that's pretty good. Makes farming a little faster. Doesn't help that I'm playing on a Ret Paladin. A warrior would be smoking these things in 2 globals. You will see enemy players. That's one of the downsides of this spot. There will be enemy players. My advice is don't attack them unless they attack you. And if they do attack you first, if you can't beat the class, do things like, slash golf clap or, slash calm. I've actually found works really well if you're up against someone that you just don't want to fight. But the best solution is to bring your friends and kill them, and then next time you see them, don't fight them. Next time you see them, be friendly because they know you're going to bring the posse if they're a jerk to you. So the best defense is a good offense. So that's how I deal with the players. But hopefully I can get some clams here. I'm not getting any clams. The turtle meat totally sells, but it does not sell quickly. So if you farm this spot for many hours like I did for a week, you are not going to be able to sell all of your turtle meat. So what I would recommend is eventually you probably need to start vendoring it, or just live with the fact that you'll have 1,000 turtle meat in your bags because you just can't possibly sell them all. The other thing that I get rid of in terms of selling, not throwing away. Like the clam meat, I will literally delete out of my bags if I'm out of space. And then if I get absolutely out of space, I will delete thick, scaly tails. Because this farm drops so many freaking items. Like, it's ridiculous. And that's why it's so good, is you have this huge variety of very needed items, like potions and eels and fish. And even the firefin, while it doesn't sell as quickly, will sell if you price it right. And that's the other thing with this farm. Don't get greedy. Don't price, 5% lower than the nearest guy. Every once in a while, just completely under, like, just throw it like 50% value and just get it out of your bags, because you will end up with so many items, especially the rune cloth bolts, because they're not that hard to make, and a lot of people have rune cloth. I find that I'm only able to sell it for about 3 to 4 times the vendor price consistently. If I try to get competitive, I end up losing money from the deposit cost. So I would definitely recommend just doing like making a minimum amount of money off of them, but they will sell on the auction house even in stacks of 10. Either auctioneers trying to resell it because they see you priced it pretty low, or people who are actually going to use it. But yeah, because you're getting it basically for free. You're not making it yourself. You can severely undercut everybody else. I can't believe I haven't gotten a clam. I'm shocked. There's a 50% chance of getting a clam right now. I'm like, what's going on here? I get Rumsey Rum Black Label on the first cast, but I can't get a clam off of these guys. Holy crap. So there's somebody fishing my eels, and he's only level 45. So if I wanted to, I could be a jerk and just kill him, and I probably will. But for now, he's going to get that cast off. But yeah, you have to worry about it, though, because if he brings a 60 or some friends, now all of a sudden your farm is extremely inefficient. But we are going to get ahead of him and start fishing for some more pools up ahead. Now, if you fish everything along the coast, go sell your items, mail yourself items back to yourself, you will end up with everything respawning by the time you get back. So having multiple people here, while it is kind of annoying, does guarantee that the pools will stay refreshed. And you know what? If the people aren't getting the firefins, that just means you have more chances at the crates, the Mithril bound crates or whatever they're called, as well as the Rumsey Rum. So we did get a clam there. I'm just going to open it up. Nothing in it. This clam meat is the stuff I was talking about that I'm willing to just throw away because it's worth so little money. Oh, we got a green. Okay, great. This is one of the worst. This is one of the worst stretches I've had. I had competition. I didn't get any eel pulls, which are worth 14, 15 gold a stack for the eel. The black oily blackmouth is worth, I don't know, like 6 or 7 gold a stack, and there's a couple other high value items. Now, one of the items I vendor that people probably will disagree with me is the bolts of Mageweave. I found it's really hard to sell them. Even though they do eventually sell, it's even worse than the turtle meat, and so I don't even bother. So that's probably one of my biggest tips from this farm, is just sell your Mageweave. It's not worth it. It sells for 25 silver to the vendor, and you can only get about 50 silver selling it on the auction house, and it has a really high deposit cost. So totally not worth it. I gotta turn my volume up a little bit. I can't hear the splash in case I'm looking down. But here we got an eel pool. These are worth a ton of money. You're basically getting guaranteed 50 silver per cast. You're guaranteed 10 gold a stack. On my server, you can easily, during prime time, sell it for 15 gold a stack. It's used for, I believe, the shielding potion, which is like 2,000 armor or something. And that's the thing that's amazing about this farm. Just like the Badlands farm was regents that people need to turn in for quests to like do better in raids, all of these items pretty much are used to some extent in raids. Like the nature resist, like the Rumsey Rum, the Blackmouth. I think the Firefin at one time was, but not anymore. I forget what it's used for. And definitely the eels. So you are constantly selling these items. They're always in demand. They're always being used. And it makes it really easy to farm here. There's no mobs that can kill you. The only thing you have to worry about is other players. If you're generally peaceful, you won't have many issues. You want to avoid having long-standing grudges with people. There's one guy that we pretty much fight every time we see each other. It's a warrior that has like amazing gear and everything. So every once in a while I kill him, but it's annoying. And he's like full tier 2.5, and I'm sitting here in my blues and my BG gear. So yeah, I mean Pally's beat warriors pretty easily, so I can at least fight him off. But it's just you just don't want that. You want to avoid that as best you can. That's pretty much the only person I've fought with, and it's because every time he sees me, he fights me. So I just make it annoying, and I made myself very annoying. I made it so he basically couldn't fish, and he stopped coming. So you don't be afraid to engage if someone, is not being peaceful, and even though I killed him multiple times, he still kept coming back. Like eventually, he just gave up. Just do your best to outlast anyone who does compete with you. I do want to kill this guy like so badly, but at least he's fishing up all the pools. So one of the good things is, as he fishes up all the pools, they will eventually respawn. If you don't fish up all of the pools, especially the fire fins, that means they stick around, and that's one less pool that can be an eel pool or an oily blackmouth, or better yet, one of the ones that always give you crates, which is really, really nice. Good chance of giving you crates. Now, one thing I'll do here is, because I have competition, I will skip the fire fin to get this pool first, so that if my competitor shows up, he'll get that one instead of this one. And I definitely think I need to run over and grab this floating wreckage if I see him coming, because that's just too valuable. There's a really good chance of getting the higher paying items from that pool. And the only thing worth less money than this potentially is the eel. And the eel is definitely worth more consistent income. You're definitely getting several gold for your casts when you cast into the eel pool. Whereas when you cast into here, there's a chance you get a crate that only has 2 silver in it. So although it has the highest payouts, like you can get one of the rings that are worth like 15 to 30 gold, and you definitely should look up regarding those rings, like the range of the resistance that can roll, because the higher the range, the more it's worth. And a perfectly rolled ring, somebody might be willing to pay like 50 gold for a perfect ring or amulet. So keep that in mind. But right now, things are looking pretty good here. I think our friend may even not know that this stuff over here exists, and he's on a 60 mount, so I don't know when he's coming, but it should be soon. So I'm just going to run ahead, especially for the video, and not risk getting the fire fin just yet. And then I'll show you the next section of this farm. Now, there are some mining nodes over here, so if you don't have a lot of competition and you're in between spawns, you got like 5 minutes before the pools start popping up, you can run back there and get some mining nodes. There's mithril and iron ore that can spawn around here. The iron's worth a lot more. If you're an herbalist, I believe there are several nodes around all the way up and down the coast for strangle kelp, which is an instant seller and another item that you can find while fishing. All right, let's see. And that's just another item that sells instantly. All of the leather sell. Oh my gosh, I thought that was a resistance ring. I almost lost it. A lot of the rings will sell. The problem is that like the player base does a lot of dungeons, and so there's a lot of, there's a 1 silver chest there that wasn't really worth it, but a lot of the rings, by the time you're level 40 or so, they're good to go. Oh, that explains why our friend wasn't fishing, right? Is that our friend who's... That's a shame if he dies. I hope he doesn't die on camera. That would be embarrassing. No fishing for you. Oh, he's fine. He's gonna live. Actually, he might have been the other rogue. I think there were 2 rogues. Is he a fisherman? We'll see. If he goes around the side, we'll know he's a fisherman. Is he gonna go around the side? Because that area over there is the next spot. We'll see. There's a quest that people have to do here for Aquademus or something. I forget the name of the thing, but they go back over there and where those rocks are. And they summon a water elemental. So there's a lot of traffic here. Now this guy does not know what he's doing. Oh wait, no, he's 45. That's why. He can't go back there because the mobs are too high. They're like level 45 or something, and then there are 49 elites. Something like that. So he's not going to bother over there, but I can. And definitely that stretch past the hill, very few people know about. They all know this area in the cove. But very few people have gone and done the other area. I think it's just a quest that most people skip because they do the one in Feralus. And Feralus is also a place where you can get these fishing pools, but you can't kill the turtles. Like that's the big thing about this farm is it's super consistent, and you make a decent amount of gold no matter what, no matter if you get lucky or not. But you don't have a shot at these super expensive items. And the rings, because of AQ with the nature resistance, are something that used to not exist for this farm. Nobody really bought them back then. But nowadays, at least they have something. But the turtles, man, the turtles are what make this farm. Because of the 1,000 gold, about 200 of the gold was from two, what are they called? Golden pearls. So literally a fifth of the income was from killing a couple of hundred turtles and getting 2 pearls. So you've got to kill the turtles, because even though for the vast majority of the time they're not going to give you anything other than some nice grays, which I at least have to give them credit for that. You get some nice grays off these guys. It's half a gold per stack. But other than that, they're not really giving you anything. But then all of a sudden, you get 20% of your income just boom in your bags, you know? And I tried to time that just in case there was one in there. But yeah, this stretch as well has a bunch. And I would say this is one of the worst amounts of gold I made, but when I total it all up, you'll see how good this farm is. Now those things that I just picked up, the raw spotted yellowtail, they are definitely something that you can just throw out. No one's going to buy it on the auction house. I don't think I've ever sold them. So and they're worth so little. They're worth 4 copper a piece. It's not even worth keeping in your bags. Like, it's just so little. It's much better to save the slots. So throw away your raw spotted yellowtail unless you have just so much bag space you don't have to worry about it. This guy's annoying because he will sometimes block the bobber. Nope. Well, I'm an idiot. So I'd much rather just run than fight this guy. There's really no need. 10 seconds and he'll go away. It takes a while to kill him. It's just annoying. Alright, cool. And I'm not going to bother with that one for a little bit. The turtles here are aggressive. So that means you do have to worry about them attacking you. But if they do attack you while you're farming, don't worry about it. Finish your cast. Let them bite on you. And then after you're done casting, then attack. Because while you can't cast while you're in combat, you can finish a cast. So keep that in mind. Iridescent pearl. Better than nothing. Now, most of the pearls you throw away. When I say throw away, I don't mean like the yellowtail. I mean vendor them. It's going to depend on the auction house. But unless you can make 3 times the vendor value of the pearl, I wouldn't even bother. And that's like a minimum. The black pearls sell for about 50 silver, and they vendor for 10. So those I definitely sell. But pretty much everything else, you know, besides golden pearl, I just vendor them. And if it's the lowest cost pearl... Oh, here we go. Here's an example. I'm going to get hit. If it's the lowest cost pearl, I will just sometimes throw it out of my bags if I'm out of room. And I would definitely say you need a full inventory for this farm. I came in here with half an inventory. Now I can't cast. And it's nowhere near enough. You need so much space for this farm. Come on. Auto attack Andy. If you want to be super efficient, don't open anything while you're running around and stuff. Open it while you're waiting for casts. And at the end here, we'll total up how much money I made. And I will caution you, this is probably one of the worst... Oh, how'd that only have 1 left? One of the worst goes I've had. First stretch, because I think a lot of the pools down south were cleaned up by a couple of people. But nobody knows about this area. Very few people know about this area. And the lower level guys who are, you know, just happen to be leveling up, who happen to be fishing as they go and can fish, they don't go over here. So it's only going to be level 60s over here. And the handful of people who do this quest probably aren't fishing anyway. So I very, very rarely see anyone doing the quest back here. And I don't know if that's because, like, you can also do it in Feralus or something, or it's a spin-off after the Feralus quest that nobody... I don't know. But these are the same giants that you see in Feralus, just, I think, a slightly different level. And like I said, Feralus has the ability to do a similar farm, but there's no big selling item that drops like the turtle with the golden pearl. There is some small thorium nodes at least over there, but there are no rich thorium nodes as far as I know on the Feralus coast where the pools are. Now, if you're just going for pools and you're not going for the big payout with the turtles, you can do the Feralus and Desolace western coast, at least the southwest of Desolace. I don't think the northwest is any good. I think it's a lower level farm. You can do the southwest of Desolace and the west coast of Feralus, and then you can come here to Tanaris, and you can also do, I think Stranglethorn has the same pools, and I don't know if there's anywhere else that has these pools. I think that's pretty much it. If you go to Ashenvale, if you get the 300 fishing and you put on 100 fishing lure, you can do better pools like Essence of Water, which isn't worth that much anymore because of recent patches where they can transmute to water. And you can also fish up, what are they? What are those things? The not nightfin, the winter squid. And winter squid sells really well in bulk. It's very, very easy to farm up a ton of winter squid, cook it all, and then sell it to a raider who wants all the squid he needs for like Nax, basically. So that's not a hard thing to do. Not everybody uses the winter squid anymore though, because now you can get plus 20 strength. So I think it's basically rogues using it maybe, but I'm not really sure. People get crit cap; they don't need agility anymore. Like they're not worth as much as they were last year. And especially in the early summer months of this year when the winter squid ran out. So that's why at one time I used to fish exclusively in Ashera. I used to go for the pools and the rich thorium nodes underwater, the pools for Essence of Water as well, but it's not really worth it anymore, and you can't get the winter squid anymore because of the time of year. If you are in Ashera, there's a section in the bottom right which I have to do a video on. It's so good. There's like chests and rich thorium ore, and you have the chance at the clams, but there's no consistent income. So unlike this farm, where you just have tons and tons of consistent money just coming in, like every cast you're just getting a gold here, 2 gold there, just constant flow of money that you can see in your bags. Those kinds of farms, you can go a while without making that much money. And it's not until you get the big ones, the big payoffs, the payouts, that you actually like feel like you're farming. But here you will feel like you're farming after a couple of casts, no matter what. And like I said, if I get low on room, I'll throw out the yellowtail, I'll throw out the zesty clam because they're worth the least, and then if I get desperate, I'll throw out the thick scaly tail. But you do it. Look at this wide variety of items in my bags right now, especially from the boxes. The mithril boxes, you get a lot of leather that's highly valuable, like extremely valuable leather that sells instantly, you know, within an hour of posting it. Like a lot of the items in the bags will sell immediately if you price it correctly. And because you're obtaining these items so easily compared to people who farm in other areas, you will be able to undercut a lot of people, and you'll be able to sell all your items instantly. It's so nice. And if you want to go for a longer game where you sell things slowly over time and make a little bit more money, you can totally do that. But what I like about this farm is if I got to pay for my nightfall in, 3 days or 4 days, and I need 1,000 gold, I'm sticking to this farm because I'm going to get the money. And if I'm lucky, I'll make a bunch more with the golden pearls. It's not like other farming spots where you're specifically farming for golden pearls or you're specifically farming for rich thorium, and then if you don't get it, you're screwed. It's a really, really nice farm, and we're almost done it. So I made about 26 gold. It was one of my worst runs, I would say. Like, I didn't get anything exciting other than the initial Rumsey Rum Black Label. But now I'll just head back to town. I won't go back up the coast because I'll catch 1 or 2 respawns, but it's not really worth it. You're much better off just getting to Gadget Stand, emptying your bags, and selling your items. But in that single run, which took me... I don't know how long this video's been going, but however long the video's been going, I made at least 25 gold, bare minimum. If I, were to stretch it, maybe I can get 30 gold out of it, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to go right back to farming. Send all the items to my alt, vendor the grays and like the mage weave, because I'm not gonna be able to sell it quickly, and then move on. So it's a pretty good farm, guys. Like I would say it's the most consistent money in the game because there's so many items involved, and I will promise you this is about half of the item types that you can get from these crates and from fishing. Like I have no strangle kelp here whatsoever. I have none of the mana potions. I didn't get any mana at all. Like those are worth so much money. Each of these, if they were mana potions, are worth like a gold. So there's a lot of ways to make money from this farm. And that's not including, you can get blues off the turtles that sell really well. Like if you go on Wowhead and you look up what drops off of these turtles, just because they're world drops from that level, and you're going to spend a lot of time here, you will eventually get some blues off of the turtles. I know I got a blue that was a shoulder that was worth, I think, 10 gold. Like you're just going to get these random influxes of gold, and then every once in a while, oh, it's so nice, you get the golden pearl. You get the golden pearl. It's so nice. And when you do get the golden pearl, it's going to be worth like 20% of your income. It's so nice. And that's why, even though, you know, I didn't focus on killing the turtles that run too much, I focused because I had competition in getting the pools. You still want to make sure that you get at least some of the turtles. At least give yourself a chance at that big boost in income. And so from vendoring items alone, I made 6 gold. And then each of these things that I'm selling here are worth money. So we're just going to round here again, see how accurate I was. In fact, I'll just go off the price that I see there. So let's say gold 30, 660, 1052, 68 silver, a gold 69, a gold 52, 80 silver. We'll give them 80 silver. 6 silver, 21 silver. Zesty clam meat I will vendor. 35 silver and another 24 silver. Boom. So much money. Approximately 25 gold. Easy money. And I'm done and I'm ready to go farm again. So guys, let me know what you think of the gold farm. Good luck and have fun.